I got my focus on passion and empathy. Gaining perspectives, investing, I do believe. Money and grinding go hand in hand, you will see. I'm working smart, expending my energy. Hope that you feeling me, I'm acting differently. You got a friend in me. I'm working hard to try and work smart. No time to complain, it's time to start. We gotta work. Future millionaires.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Future Millionaires. Today, we have on Devin Johnson, who is the CEO and co-founder of Connected, which is a badass company. And I don't say that about all the people I bring on. I really don't. I mean, I got people all the time who I'm talking to Connected about for many reasons, and we'll dive into those. But without further ado, Devin, how you doing today?
Good. What's going on, brother? It's always a pleasure to catch up. Super honored to be on your show and get to I believe we're talking about some sales today. So
Oh yeah, we got all the goods, got all of them. I mean, I'd love for you to start out too by giving the listeners like a 60 to 90 second snippet of where you're at right now in your life and business and what you're really focusing in on in this time.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me right now, we're dealing with extreme growth. We've kind of been in hyper growth for the last 7 months, but right now it's very, very intense. So
yeah,
scaling the back end and infrastructure is really where we're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've went from 5 to 10, almost 10,000 users now in less than 12 months on the Connected.
Yeah.
So it's been, again, hyper scaling the infrastructure internally. That's all I'm focusing on, building those strategic partners, building and training the employees and the team here. And I've had to move offices twice. So
With Corona?
No, just needing bigger space.
Oh yeah.
So we actually just moved into one at the end of March. We're in a little bit bigger one now where we'll be good for a while.
That's a good problem to have though, you know, hyper scaling and new offices. So that's awesome to hear that you guys are focused in on that now. But I mean, this is a show too where we got a lot of younger listeners, you know, in the high school, college range. So I'd love for you to kind of give a little snippet into when entrepreneurship was introduced into your life and what that was looking like when you were young. I mean, you're not old now. How old are you right now too?
Yeah, I'm 23.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's not like it's not too long ago, but
right. So I'll tell you, you know, a good quick flyover of when entrepreneurship really started for me. So my journey actually started out of a must. Most good stories start with something, again, you know, back against the wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, my sister was diagnosed with a really rare form of cancer going into my freshman year of high school. And my mom was immediately terminated from her employer of almost 20 years. My mom is the sole provider. She took care of me growing up by herself. And so she came to me and said, hey, we're basically going to lose everything. And I just could not accept that.
Mm-hmm.
And so at, 15 at the time, you can't go get a job that's going to help provide and make ends meet. And so instead of, doing silly alternatives, I got a passion for shoes, always had a passion for shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started reselling Yeezys, Nikes, Jordans, and that tailored into being able to provide and being able to start a sneaker trade show, learning a little bit of digital marketing, and eventually fast forward. So it's 15 years old for me when entrepreneurship really actually began, and it was a sink or swim situation.
Yeah, that's definitely, I mean, I'm really glad that you were able to bring in that revenue because I know we talked a bit earlier. I mean, do you mind sharing how much you made off, your shoes and whatnot too, just in high school?
Yeah, so I finished high school with over $100,000 to my name from flipping shoes.
That's awesome.
It was a strategic, getting to meet the right people to buy the shoes, to being able to buy volume, being able to reinvest. Actually cut 7th period my junior and senior year on getting shoes and just hustling my face into the ground. I mean, it was very intense, but I was addicted after I sold my first pair of shoes into being able to provide for myself. And, that ultimately being able to save that kind of money launched me into being able to experiment and ultimately end up where I'm at today.
Definitely. So at that transition, right? So you graduate high school, and then what was that transition like looking to Connected today when you started that?
For sure. So in high school, we have a good family friend that ran direct marketing offices for AT&T. And
Mm-hmm.
so he always knew that, you know, I was doing the shoes and we would see each other at
Yeah.
gatherings and stuff. And one time we got together, I forget what family function it was. He's like, just come and start shadowing on a Saturday or when you can.
Yeah.
Let me help you with your sales, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I would see direct marketing. They did more of a direct approach.
Yeah.
And when I graduated, I shadowed him for a few weeks, and he just taught me sales. I would actually even go out to the field, watch him pitch door to door. We're talking door knocking,
Yeah.
like hardcore sales, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I got a burning passion for just wanting to learn how to the art of the persuasion, the art of the deal, right? However you want to look at it, and tailored that into selling door hangers, actually. So that was my first business out of high school, and that led to customers asking for websites, then led to digital marketing, and started meeting clients through LinkedIn, and that's ultimately what segued the idea of Connected.
Gotcha. So you started seeing, I guess, the LinkedIn possibilities, and you're like, there has to be a better way.
For sure. Yeah, no, I mean, over 50% of the people that were, you know, ultimately clients at the time were coming from LinkedIn, you know, manually, and wanted a better way to do it.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. And I mean, as a user, I'll talk about even my experience a little later on, because it definitely saves a lot of time. That's for sure.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm just telling the truth. So with Saas, right? Because what you guys have is software as a service. I mean, do you know Brett Knudsen?
Not familiar with that.
Not familiar. So he runs an agency, Monopolize, out of Nevada. But before he did that, he ran Hive, which was like a social media kind of like meet your friends type of scenario. And when I talked with him, he told me he got screwed out of $50K when he was building out that software from coders in Ukraine. And I was just think, like, when you're looking to build something very ambitious, like, how was that process for you, and how'd you go about finding the right team to make sure that you were going to be able to do this?
Very good question. The first time it's ever came up in a podcast interview, and would love to address this because there's a lot of scammers, a lot of phonies, and it is. So I'm going to be transparent here. I was very fortunate as I was getting into the digital marketing side of things to pick up a business partner early on. And he has 7 years on me, so he's actually 30 years old.
Gotcha.
And had a local connection to be able to introduce us to a trusted group of developers. So I did not have to do a lot of searching. It was a connection thing for me. And at that time, Cody was actually mentoring me as well. Okay. So now best practices just from being having to scale it, right? It definitely, one that I would recommend that people have had really good luck with, and my friends, is being able to do Upwork and vetting out from, you know, talented pools such as not Fiverr, not these like there's so many platforms you'll find these guys, but I know people personally that have found full-time developers and really scaled their businesses from not dropping it. Oh my goodness. Upwork.
Yeah. And there's a lot of them out there. So
Upwork has been very successful for people that I know. And it just comes down to having a proper hiring process in place and really being clear of what you need and what you want. Yeah. And having that prepared when it comes to the table. Like, I was actually on an interview this morning, and I said, what's the biggest piece of advice you could give going into starting a business? I said, have clarity, right? You don't hear that much, right? Being very clear of what you want. So I was very clear when working with these developers early on as contractors, and that helped, develop out a successful product.
Definitely. And I mean, would you say, because I know you had your partnership that provided you experience and you had, you know, a trusted connection, for somebody who wouldn't have that, I mean, would you recommend that they almost pay like maybe a consultant? Because I'm thinking of how I would do something like that, right? If I didn't have that connection, like get a consultant who knows what they're doing in the space that can help you out with that, like get those introductions. Yeah,
if you have the financial wherewithal to be able to have a trusted advisor in that sector, highly recommended. I'm such a big believer in investing in yourself and into relationships. And, that one small transaction may lead to a lifetime friend,
Definitely.
And a lifetime mentor. So I strongly recommend that. And one that's really good, which is national, so this can appeal to everyone.
Yeah.
This organization called Sandler Training. So they have various names where, depending on where they're located, but the core company, Sandler Training, they have great mentors and unlimited resources when it comes to needing to scale a business from nothing.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And the last question I really want to ask on, the software side of stuff is, for a person who may be listening and may be thinking like, wow, software as a service sounds awesome. There's good margins. But at the same time, I feel like a lot of people who think of starting a SaaS company haven't ran a successful company before, and they might not have too much cash flow to reinvest. So what would you say to somebody, kind of like the order of events of when you should start a SaaS company if you're thinking about doing so?
Yeah. So order of events, it's definitely going to require capital investment minimum, $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
You're also going to need wherewithal to be able to feed yourself outside of that. So as far as the cash position, I had a cushion on me, but I definitely would not have been able to do it if I didn't have at least 25 grand.
Okay.
Right. As far as the cash position. Now, just getting started and kind of a timeline, like if you're in that agency model, starting to build relationships with developers early on, maybe website builders or people that really understand software. And then you've got opportunities to be able to say, incentivize them by, hey, I'll give you X percentage of the company if you build X, and do a right to sell. So you actually don't always have to have capital. You can intrigue developers and grade A talent by a very clear vision, mission, and execution list. So it's not impossible to be able to start a software company with $0. You've got to have a good mouthpiece, and you've got to be able to have your ducks in a row when it comes to your legalities, right?
Yeah.
So that one's a lot more gray area involved.
Definitely.
It's definitely doable. And there is developers that look for those kind of deals solely.
Yeah.
We'll help you build X for 20%. And there's one locally actually called Developer Town here in Indiana. I live in Indiana, and they are amazing. They build grade A software. I mean, top notch, and they just take a small piece of the company.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I feel like, it kind of, even for me, I'm in the space all the time, and I just didn't even think about that as a possibility because I always love keeping my equity. But that's something that I feel like it kind of depends on the person. And I mean, at some point to scale, you have to release certain things, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And one thing I really respect about how you were able to structure Connected is even through this rapid scaling, there has not been one customer service in any business that has treated me as well as I've been treated with Connected, which is something that I found quite astonishing, even for, a company that you said is in rapid growth, because a lot of times, unfortunately, certain details like that get ignored. So before we get into the sales, client delight, I mean, what are you doing to really ensure that that is a process that's being followed? Because it's been great for me.
Well, first off, I appreciate the kind words and the insight. Yeah. It's been top priority from day one for me. A relationship and a commitment to a customer means absolutely everything to me. Now, I understand that I'm one person and I have to learn to delegate and trust the team.
Yeah.
So a support team, I meet with my support team just as much as I meet with my sales team.
Smart.
I lead the initial trainings internally and let them duplicate from there. I am very hands-on with it. And it's again, the way you prioritize things is what then you become most valuable to you.
Yeah.
And for me, that's just, I know retention is everything. It's when it comes to your value of your SaaS company, and when it comes to your scalability, your predictions, everything, it's all about retention and what you can actually keep, right?
Yeah.
And so I just keep it top of mind. I'm very hands-on. I'm always making new training, and I'm investing in softwares and partners to give us advice. And, last month I spent like $5,000 in consulting fees on how to keep up with hyper growth, but it was a trusted advisor.
Yeah.
I was willing to make that investment, and I take it. And then not only do I make the investment of the knowledge, I take massive action on it. One thing I've been blessed with is be able to see something through and have no hesitations on executing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's huge. And I feel like just even when we were talking, I remember you're like, hey man, when you're scaling a business, especially when you're starting out, you get 10K, you should never have 10K in your bank account, keep investing. And that has been something that has serviced me really well. And I feel like that is exactly why you are where you are today. A very large reason of it.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm a big growth mindset believer, always achieving more, and the the mindset of scarcity is a very scary thing.
Definitely.
Right? And staying away from that, and just being open to being able to invest in yourself and get to that next level.
Definitely. Awesome. And now even transitioning to sales, and I mean, we even hit on it a little bit earlier when you talked about equity. Like, you have to have that clear vision in order to sell that developer, hey, this is something worthwhile investing your time in to get the long-term reward. So, I mean, first off, I would love for you to kind of tell the people what you would consider yourself a mix of in the sales arena.
All right. This is my favorite. So I am believe it or not, I'm a Gary Vaynerchuk and a Jordan Belfort kind of hodgepodge of what we do sales wise here. So follow the baseline of, straight line strategy, but the aggressiveness from like a Gary V standpoint, right?
Definitely.
And so I know Gary V doesn't like preach sales, and he's not like a sales coach. We use a hybrid model of the mindset to the strategy, and then we've put our own twist on it to make it applicable to Saas and our particular product.
Definitely. So, I mean, let's start there with kind of what you said in the, straight line and whatnot. So how, for those people who don't know, first off, what's the straight line, kind of simply explained?
So the straight line, this is the most basic way to understand a straight line. Every single call you get on, you know how it's going to start and finish, no matter who it is, what prospect it is, or what's going to happen, or what they're going to throw at you. But you're going to start at A and you're going to finish at B. That's the basics of it, right? You have a process that that like the back of your hand, no matter what's thrown at you, you will get to B eventually. That's the high level flyover of straight line strategy. Then there's a series of, stages within straight line.
Yeah, definitely. I know if you were to do in-depth on that, I mean, clearly Jordan Belfort has hours of course time going into that. But the strategy that you guys use, that mixed with the aggressive approach, I feel like a lot of times people, and even myself included, I'm going to loop myself in here, are afraid to get like aggressive in sales almost. You know what I mean? And I want to hear kind of like, I guess, how you've seen that aggressive level benefit your people and your team.
Well, so it's going to actually start back from clarity and a mindset that we have our individuals in. So they know Connected is the biggest, the baddest, the most successful automation that you could put your dollars into. And before they get on that call, their mind already knows Gavin is going to make money, benefit, product is just going to rock their world, right? So the mindset is number one on that straight line strategy. And you've got to be so confident, right? That's why the aggressiveness, it's almost like a passive aggressive, right?
Yeah.
The confidence is just from being on calls with me are fired up, right? But it's just my energy. And so that's duplicated into each one of our sales members here. If you're, here at Connected, one of the things is there's a 6-week kind of ramp up period. But if you're 2 weeks into it and this X tone is not hit, we mutually agree to split ways.
Mm-hmm.
The confidence, the believing, the vision here has to be understood very, very quickly. And that's what, the how the aggressiveness plays into. It's more of a passive aggressive. So like you get on that call with us, like, whoa, like I'm an idiot if I don't buy this software. Just because we're so confident, we're so sure, we know exactly how to help you.
Definitely. So there's a few things in that I want to hit more on. And one of them is a lot of times here in sales, you kind of want to mirror that energy of your prospect. So, for example, if somebody's kind of lethargic and they're talking slow, you don't want to be like super excited, blah, 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 and make them feel weird. I'm wondering, where do you find like that balance, and what are your kind of views on that?
I'm not a big mirror guy. I'm just not. I really don't buy into it. I'm not. I know there's a lot of legends that believe in it and teach it. I've always believed in being yourself, bringing your own energy, and the room will rise with you, right? It's like as all tides rise, ships rise, or something like that.
Yeah.
So if I get someone on there that's very low toned and I'm, what's going on, Gavin? And you're like, hey, Devin, and I keep doing it, you're going to get more and more excited by the nature of being around me. It kind of goes to you're the average of 5 people, right? Well, if you keep spend 45 minutes with me and I'm rapping along and high energy and excited, like how can you not be excited?
And even if someone isn't excited at that point too, it's probably not somebody you would want to deal with down the road.
Exactly. That's another point. I'm glad you brought that up. We have a very particular person that we like to do business with. And that's all we want to do business with, right?
Yeah.
It can be any industry, but there's a certain mindset we want to work with.
Definitely. And so before we dive into the structure of these calls and how you guys are really like, going about setting these up, just the culture in general, something you already brought up twice. And for all the listeners, it was pretty funny. As soon as I was talking with Devin, there was a loud noise and I was like, what the hell is that? Does he have his TV on? It was his sales team celebrating. If I'm correct, right? That was your sales team congratulating each other. Exactly. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that's awesome. So how are you able to build such a culture that is united on the same goal?
Yeah. So number one, have a very clear end picture of where we're taking this company. They know exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it, how we're doing it. So always having them informed and have the insight of what the leadership is doing, right? That's very important for a buy-in. Number two, we show them a good time, right? You're going to work hard. We're going to play hard too. We'll take them out to dinners. We'll play the golf. We'll go to those cigar bars. Like we show them a lifestyle when they come a part of Connected, right? Very big on the family feel, right? You've got to rock with us. So showing them a lifestyle and something they've may not ever been introduced to, and also breaking down goals into very digestible pieces so they know exactly what they need to do. So let's go full circle with that. Number one, be very clear on where our company is going and why it's going that direction. Number two, showing them we are human, we do work hard, but we also play hard, and there's standards around that. We're not going to go out here and you're not going to see craziness from us, but we're going to have fun. And then, number three, helping them understand how to obtain their goals day by day. It's very important to us. So each time, we have a goal setting within your first week here. You have a goal setting meeting with us, and we help you understand what it's going to take to be able to achieve those.
That's really, really nice, because I feel like personally, that's actually one place that I messed up in when leading others in sales. Is when I first got into it, like I provided tactics. I was like, okay, let's go. But when it came down to actually like, what are the micro steps we have to take? I had different trainings, but didn't lay out a clear path. And I think that led to some issues that I personally had. So I think that's really, really definitely solid advice. So when it goes to the structure of the calls, well, I guess let me even back this up one more step here. When you're setting appointments, clearly you guys are getting appointments from LinkedIn all the time. I mean, are you guys solely relying on that, or do you have other ways of generating leads as well with diversification and whatnot?
For sure. So 83% of all new leads come through Connected, our own system.
Yeah.
I'm also a believer of drinking your own Kool-Aid, right? I do not like the guru approach where I know it all, but I've never even done it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not naming names. I'm not throwing any shade,
Hey,
but
you could know it all too for $9.97.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so just trying to avoid that. And, that also includes our buy-in. People buy into, hey, wow, they're actually using their own product, get their own results. So
Yeah.
the rest of that's what is that? 17%? Yep, 17%. It's going to come through PPC, content marketing, referrals, affiliate structure, a hodgepodge of it, right? A little bit of Facebook ads sometimes too.
Okay.
So it was so important for me initially to use only our own product, but as we started building a brand, bringing on talent, attracting people, we needed to go around, go full circle on having a clear brand image online. So that's why we've done other tactics. And if you actually Google us, it's a shout out to our content team and Steven, that's the head of our marketing. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and I even noticed on YouTube too with Elliot, you guys got really good YouTube SEO for like LinkedIn automation and some of those money keywords.
For sure. Yeah, and that plays into, again, we do have a marketing team here. Steve runs that. He's actually a partner in it as well.
Okay.
Of the company.
Yeah.
So he's all day, every day, making that stronger and stronger. And our brand image has just really went to the next level over the last 6 months.
Now, I've noticed too, and this isn't sales related, but it's something that I keep seeing reoccurring. It's worked out really well for you guys. You have, multiple partners in the company. And for me, my mindset is, okay, I love my company. Like, I don't want to give, and I feel like it's almost like hard for me because I don't trust many people. Like, I trust them, but not to that level. So I'm wondering, how are you able to first find these people? And second off, just have it so you guys are in such a good working relationship?
Absolutely. So first off, let me just say partnerships are always going to have your moments. Okay. So it may look perfect on the outside world. We, of course, have our internal discussions, right?
Yeah.
So let me be upfront about that. But I will tell you, we have such a unique, dynamic working relationship. There's nothing that could separate us as partners. At Connected, there's 5 of us, believe it or not.
Yeah.
5 ownership partners. And I found all of them through the mentorship of Cody. And then Elliot, I know you know Elliot. Elliot was actually a very good, close friend of mine throughout high school and wanted him to be on board. And he had so much to bring to the table, so much knowledge and ideas.
Yeah.
And really deserves that co-founder badge. And, Cody bringing up the president and bringing in the marketing with Steven, just all mashed very well. All of our personalities complement one another. We don't have a C trying to communicate with a D, right? If you understand this, that's what I'm referring to. We all mash well, right? And understand and respect each other's boundaries and our own lanes. We also trust each other in our respected verticals.
Definitely.
There's no doubt between one another.
Yeah, I think it's really smart what you said too about like personality types, and I feel like that's same kind of thing with like engineer type brain versus creative type brain, along with the personality types. And I know just from knowing some of you guys that you definitely have, I guess, the right people in the right roles for that.
Yeah, and it was a series of, vision from me, expertise from Cody, Elliot really knowing what he wanted to do within the company, and it's panned out very well.
Definitely. So back to the sales with your guys' call too. Like I see a lot of times a debate between, one call close or an intro call, and then, setting up another call that should be a sales call. Or of course, if you can get someone to book a demo with you, clearly that's ideal. But what's kind of like the mix of those for you guys?
It's a good hybrid model of the discovery of let's benefit one another. By the way, this is what I do, and then that messaging to hook them in. We truly do serve, learn how we can help them. It's first and foremost, that we are serving in our passive aggressive approach.
Mm-hmm.
By the nature of the beast, they met us from LinkedIn, and we can tell them that we can automate this. So they, that they use it, right? Our plus is very unique. And so we approach it from, we are going to, I'm going to share what I'm going to do. You're going to share what you do. We're going to see how we can work together from there.
Gotcha. And then, too, I'm assuming once they get on the call, right? So, after the second call, what's that demo call looking like, because do you guys go through a presentation, or how do you structure those?
We screen share the actual product, the actual profile that met the individual, and we have 4 steps in our demo. It's very short, concise. We can demo, questions, objections, and close in 30 minutes.
30 minutes. That's definitely a really concise sales cycle, because I feel like a lot of times in my calls, sometimes I let my prospects wander when they're talking.
Yeah. And, the very first step in our sales training is actually always have control and how to do it, passively. So, elaborating on that, time is money. It really, really is when it boils down to it. And so we make sure that our culture here, that they respect the other individual and obviously want them to be talking about themselves. That's part of building the emotion of the sell. But there's a line that we need to stay within. When we got 30 minutes, we've got 30 minutes to get her done, right?
Yeah.
Now, do every call stay in 30 minutes? No. Bigger clients, bigger opportunity, and we need to book an hour out, right?
Yeah.
But I'm going to say 70% of the time, we're done in 30 minutes.
That's super solid. Okay. So always have control is something I noticed that you said, Jim, and that's something that, like, you first and foremost train your people how to do. So what are strategies when you enter a sales call to always have control?
Be the first one to speak in a very confident tone. It's as simple as, Gavin, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today. You have control of that conversation now. And then that tailors into, Gavin, thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me today. So, where are you located at? You're going to break the bridge of, like, anticipation and, like, awkwardness immediately. You're going to address it head on. And you're just going to get to know the person before the actual call will go. So we call it the small talk phase, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have that 2 to 3 minute small talk. What that does is you're instantly starting to build trust with them. This dude's a human. Man, he like cares about, like, what's going on, and their guard is going down further. And then you parlay into, Gavin, again, we're here together to learn more about what one another does. Go ahead and tell me what you do. I'm approaching it from, like, a cold prospect sale, right? You would tell me what you do, and then I would have a transition statement immediately as you finish. And I'm going to ask you questions. I'm going to get to know, like, your passion and what really led you to where you're at, right? That's the biggest bulk of the call. It's 10 minutes alone right there, 10 to 12 minutes right there. Getting to know you and letting you talk, then transition by thanking you for sharing your story and going right into, so, we met off LinkedIn, and that's actually what I do. I completely automate the whole process. So getting to spend this amazing time with you here today, Gavin, was automated actually by our program Connected. And then you do the small spiel and pull up the screen immediately, show them how it all works.
Yeah.
Goes right into a close.
Because, okay, I like what you said there, because it's kind of reaffirming a lot of stuff that I've learned lately, in the sense of, I always heard when I was looking up stuff on YouTube, just getting started in sales, trying to sell clients, and I always heard, like, you want to speak like 20% of the time and spend like 80% of your sales.
Very true. The 80-20 rule is a very true thing. I've been in thousands of negotiations at a very young age over clientele and whatnot. And I negotiate every single day. I'm in a negotiation. and I am truly speaking less than 20% of the time.
Yeah.
Because you want to wrap emotions and pull emotions so that you can help paint the picture to the desired state in the time that you have to present in your offer.
Mm-hmm. So when you're listening, you said you're looking for emotions. I'm wondering how are you thinking of directing those emotions, and how do you bring them up later in the sales call? Kind of like
Sure.
use what they're giving, the information they're giving you, strategically use that.
Yeah, so I always have a notepad with me. This is me personally. I would say 90% of our staff here are the same. They'll have a notepad, and they're asking questions like, Gavin, so you're in digital marketing, you're young, you're crushing it. Dude, what got you into digital marketing? And you're gonna say, oh, the passion for being my own boss and building relationships. Well, I'm noting entrepreneur likes to meet people, right? And so that's one bullet or piece of ammo is how we refer to it in our training.
Yeah.
That's one piece of ammunition. We look for 3 of them when we are in that initial getting to know Gavin, right? So dude, digital marketing, like crushing it. That, awesome. Thanks for sharing how or why you wanted to get into it. How'd you get into it? Like, I'm just curious. And then you'll say, well, I went through, normally there's some story along of this is how they'll tell you the backstory. There's always a pain point in there. Like if I were to ask you, how did you get into digital marketing? Well, I just really didn't want to work for myself, and okay, don't like working for yourself. That's a pain point. Then as I transition, I would take these 3 points. I'll pick one. I'll lead with it. So how you love to meet people and like it's a top priority for you, Gavin. So that's actually what Connected will do for you 100 times a day. And so talking a little bit more about what we do, and then I'll go into it, and I'll throw in another pain point or 2 throughout the process.
Yeah. No.
That is highly skilled. Okay.
I was going to say some nuggets in there. Dang.
There's I'm telling you guys, it takes call after call after call after call to be able to do it. Our sales guys, will be able to do it effectively about 4 months into it.
4 months into it. Yeah. Doing that full time. Definitely.
It's a finesse. It's being quick on your feet, and it's being able to be such a ball of energy all the time,
Yeah, no, I really liked how you are using that information. And I feel like a lot of that really stems, like you said, with taking control of the conversation. Because one thing that I feel like this is probably one of my weaknesses in sales is, the first 2 to 3 minutes is super important. And I tend to overthink it sometimes. Like, it could go this way, that way.
Man, be yourself. I got on the call today. I mean, this guy was bald. I've never met him before. I was like, dude, that head's looking killer. Like, I just crack jokes. So it is a human being on the other side of that call. I don't care if they're the CEO of Walmart or this major company or doing this or worth $400, $500 million. That is a human being, and you should have the right to be yourself at all times with standards. Okay, there's guidelines there, right? You can't be too aggressive now, but just have fun with it. Like, if they say no, you don't end up doing business together, who cares? Yeah. There's so many other opportunities.
That's so true. And like for me too, I do a lot of work now. I'm having some calls with attorneys, right? So like very, like professional, I guess more so conservative niche and how they build their businesses and whatnot. So like someone like me who's in that niche, would you say like, hey, like fuck it, still be yourself in that sense? Like you don't have to.
100%. I'm in lawyer meetings all the time, and I'm cracking jokes, having fun. Be yourself regardless. You want to attract that. One thing I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs pitfall into is ending up with a client that they do not like working with. It ultimately weighs into their mindset. Ultimately questions their worth.
That's true, yeah.
And so with you being upfront about who you are as an individual and acting the way you want to act, it's so important on making sure you find that right clientele.
Yeah, that is huge. That's awesome. So another thing I want to bring up is really, I know we talked about selling with swag, and
Yeah.
that's something that, I mean, it comes from the confidence, what you're talking about. The whole culture kind of cultivates the swag without even thinking about it. But I want you to break down a little more what it means to you to kind of sell with swag and how you do that.
Yeah, man. Just being, off the cuff, being able to crack a joke, being able to not be too serious. Even when it comes down to the wire, like we have a lot of our guys like, let's hear, Gavin, you're talking with me because you need more leads. That's obviously why we're having this conversation. Let's do business. I mean, like just the swag, the like 110% certainty in everything that you do. Because when you own a call like that and have the confidence in that voice, you can say and maneuver however you want because they're gonna feed into it. The energy's they're gonna be eaten right off of it.
That's awesome. Yeah. And I'm thinking too, like, I know a lot of people, they may schedule a call and they may be like, oh yeah, also check out this, case study, this 15-minute case study, if you have the time before the call or whatever. I'm wondering, do you guys do anything like that with like checking out case studies and then also testimonials? How do you leverage those in your call or before the call or anything with that?
We don't use either, actually.
That is quite surprising. Yeah.
The testimonials are on our website to be there. It's the thing that needs to be there. There's a time and place where, especially for digital advertising, that's where testimonials and reassurance come in. When it comes one-on-one, you're buying because I'm a trusted advisor and I'm helping you go to a desired state. If I can't convince you, I can get you there. The testimonial, the reassurance. If someone comes in my office and says, I need this testimonial, I said, don't chase, replace. You didn't do your job right. Let's talk about it. I should be able to sell you on the confidence and the clarity and the product delivery, not a video or a case study. And I know you're in digital marketing. It's a little bit different. But I'm talking in our world.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's definitely going to be differences within each industry.
Sure.
And for you guys too, your objections with closing and whatnot, I'm wondering, clearly you get the price. That's probably the main one. I feel like it almost always is, or either it's price or it's not going to work. How do you overcome those really?
Price is actually not a massive objection here. I know that's crazy.
Yeah, well, I'm not doubting it.
The way we've built our demo and even the discovery, the one call closes, is we start painting a picture from the first sentence we say around the product. And then when we get into the data and the back end of the product and showing the dashboard, all right, let's think about your actual demo experience. So when you went through and actually got to the dashboard part of it, and then we're like, one of the things we say is like, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Here's our dashboard. By the way, how hard is it for you to get a verified email address? Oh, it's so hard. Like, how much have you spent on it? Yada, yada, yada. We're building the emotion of like what they hate in it. And then we ask them in our market, how much have you paid in the past for this? And the average price that we said people say they spend for marketing or leads is around $2,200.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty atypical. And so when we show them the data, and then right before we go to pricing, we say, so, Gavin, knowing that the average, marketing budget's between $2,000 and $3,000 a month, and you're seeing the volume, you're seeing the numbers, you're seeing the email addresses, what do you think this actually cost? Most people are in the $4,000 or $5,000 range when they guess. They've never seen automation, they've never seen a product like this. Well, actually, we just want half of that 3 month, $3,000 a month down. That's $1,497, and then all you pay is a small monthly fee moving forward.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say 60% of the time it's wow, that's it. And we've really perfected that over the last 12 months.
That's awesome.
Process. Now, before we had this unique sales process that we've really tailored in on, that was a problem. And it's all about the expectation and the value that you build in the presentation and getting to know the individual.
That's a super good point. Awesome. So we're wrapping up here. Clearly you've, hit on some killer points and dropped some absolute bombs for the sales arena and the Saas arena. And I got 2 questions I like to ask all my guests. And the first one of those is, what is advice that you hear very often, but you personally disagree with? Because there's tons of different opinions out there, especially in the digital age.
Yeah, it's that the content. That one kills me. That one absolutely kills me. If you go try to find me on Instagram, you probably won't even find me.
Yeah.
I got 1,100 followers. Last time I posted was when I got married back in November. Content is not everything. Be able to build authentic relationships and actually focus on growing a real business is where the energy needs to be spent. One thing I definitely disagree with is content is 90 pieces of content. No, come on.
That's funny because that's literally like the one thing I say too. Like, focus on building the business, and content's an investment later on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely. So, okay, great. And then the last thing I like to say is, as entrepreneurs and, just people in general, we always have certain things that we want to better ourselves at in our lives, and we're never really, at the max of any level. But I'm wondering for you, what's one thing in your life or business that you're really looking to better right now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot. That's why I'm kind of coming through things.
Yeah.
I'm going to take this one on a personal level. I've been very blessed here lately in business.
Mm-hmm.
Things are going very well in business. So I would say appreciating things outside of business, such as family, my wife, the people that actually support me outside the business, really showing the appropriate appreciation and what they deserve. Because ultimately, if it wasn't for my wife, there's no way I could pull this business off. She takes care of everything. So I know it's a little cheesy and moment, but it's true, man. That's one area I really want to get better in. It's one of my big goals. And behind every king's a queen, right? Is whatever they say. So, really making my home life, as efficient as my business life is.
Yeah, that's an awesome goal. Awesome. So where's the best place for people to follow up with you at or get in touch with Connected if they want to?
Yeah, absolutely. Website's great place to get in touch with us. Connected.org. It's KENNECTED.org. And then you can find me on Instagram. Again, I have it. I'm on there. I'll respond if there's a DM. It's Devin, DEVIN _Johnson 3. So
you guys just got the underground Instagram.
Yeah, that's the personal Instagram. So feel free to reach out to me. You can book a demo through the website. You'll be in good hands here. And, it's just an honor to be able to spend some time with you here, Gavin.
Yeah, I appreciate you having on. Thank you so much for coming on.
All right. I appreciate it.